bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the ocean.
Today is Law Day, and Law Day is a day where we recognize the fine men and women that work in the law enforcement community.
God bless America, my home, sweet home.
As Ontario County Sheriff, I stand here today to honor and pay tribute to the men and women of the Ontario County Office of Sheriff who protect the freedoms and provide public safety daily to ensure that we are all safe from harm in our homes, our schools, at our jobs, or just simply driving down the highway. The bravery and heroism that law enforcement officers display every day is second to none and should remind us of the debt of gratitude we owe all members of law enforcement. So at this time, I think this is appropriate time that we remember our fallen officers here at the Sheriff's Office. Our police officers and peace officers take risks daily to protect and serve. We secure the safety of Ontario County citizens. Today, we remember the deputy sheriffs who have made the ultimate sacrifice while protecting and serving Ontario County. We remember Under Sheriff Ernest Kiersky, who died on October 25th, 1937, after being injured in the line of duty. We remember Deputy Sheriff Truman Becker, who died on July 17th, 1981, after being injured in the line of duty. We remember Deputy Sheriff Malcolm D. Strong, who died on February 2nd, 1983, after being injured in the line of duty. We must never forget these deputies, and we commend them for the duties and ultimate sacrifice they did to our county. Can we have a moment of silence for not only these gentlemen, for all the law enforcement men and women throughout the country that have paid the ultimate sacrifice? Thank you. So now we're going to recognize the outstanding acts of heroism, and this is something I've been looking forward to this day as the new sheriff. There are outstanding acts of heroism, bravery, life-saving, and exceptional performance above and beyond the call of duties by members from all divisions of the Ontario County Sheriff's Office. The Sheriff's Awards Committee has brought forth the following recognition and dedication to public safety. If you follow along in your brochures, you'll see these. So we're going to start out with letters of commendation. So the first one I'd like to call is Communication Officer Kara Miller here. Come on up. We know you don't get your father's gene.
Yeah, I
know.
No.
Okay. So this letter of commendation is presented to Communication Officer Kara Miller. On the evening of April 12, 2018, Communication Officer Kara Miller received a call from an excited male in the city of Canandaigua reporting a male down. The caller stated that the male had fallen and hit his head and was foaming from the mouth. Upon further interrogation, the patient was found to be unconscious and not breathing. The caller stated twice that he thought the patient was dead. Officer Miller quickly created a CAD's records for EMS and law enforcement. While resources were being dispatched, Officer Miller calmed the caller and was able to get him to start chest compressions. She gave him good instructions on how to do the chest compressions and further assisted him by counting out the compressions as he was doing them until emergency responders arrived and took over. The patient was transported to Thompson Hospital, where he was stabilized, and then transported to Strong Memorial Hospital by Mercy Flight for further treatment. The patient had been in cardiac arrest, and these instructions given by Communication Officer Miller played a major part in saving the patient's life. It is with great pleasure that I present this letter of commendation to Communication Officer Kara Miller. Good job. Let me take my glasses off.
Golly, we have to take a picture.
Yeah. And here you go.
Thank you.
Good job, right
Thank
below
you.
us. Okay, Deputy Carl Nelson. Is Carl here today? Carl's at a trial. Funny to say that, because Carl's recognition, do we have his paperwork? Carl just recently retired, or I don't know, that's what, about 8 months ago now, from full-time to part-time status, and Carl has been assigned to a traffic control unit that we do here at the Sheriff's Office. And that's basically targeted enforcement in the towns of Victor, Canandaigua, Farmington, and Geneva. And trust me, if you're out in those towns, you better watch out for Carl, because he's out there and he's very aggressive. But what we're doing is, I want to recognize Carl for this award. I was actually, I just recently was elected. I was coming back from the city from doing a meeting, and this all went down, so I was kind of partially involved, so I really know what Carl did. So on December 18th, 2018, Deputy Nelson was working the enhanced patrol detail for the traffic in the town of Victor when there was a broadcast from dispatch advising that a burglary was in progress with a female victim still inside the residence. And this was a young teenage girl that was inside the residence by herself. Upon hearing this call, Deputy Nelson responded immediately to a priority call. He arrived within 3 minutes to find the suspect in the driveway of the residence, loading stolen property from the house inside the vehicle. Deputy Nelson exited his patrol vehicle, ordered the suspect to stop. He ignored Deputy Nelson's commands, jumped in his vehicle, and fled through the yard. And what's not stated in here, this suspect almost struck Deputy Carl Nelson in his attempt to get away. Deputy Nelson quickly re-entered his patrol vehicle and pursued the suspect into Monroe County before losing sight of him as the suspect was driving in and out of traffic at speeds in excess of 100 miles an hour. He continued to search the area for the suspect vehicle and then again spotted it, so Carl did not give up on this. Deputy Nelson re-engaged the pursuit into the town of Perrington. Unfortunately, the suspect crashed. There were no injuries due to this crash, and Deputy Nelson was able to get out of his vehicle and place him into custody without further incident. A later search of the suspect's vehicle yielded all property stolen from the victim's residence. Through the entire incident, Deputy Nelson acted decisively, professionally, and without regard to his own safety. In doing so, he was able to apprehend a dangerous burglar with a lengthy criminal history, and this defendant did have a very lengthy history. Later in the investigation, we revealed that a teenage girl was home alone when the burglar entered in the front door of their home and began taking the property. She actually hid into a bathroom, in the shower of the bathroom, and called 911. And she stayed on the phone, which was very important to stay on the phone so we can get the proper information. Deputy Nelson's actions on December 18th with this victim and her family can be made whole again. Deputy Nelson exemplifies the values of law enforcement and those of the Ontario County Sheriff. As well as this award, on May 15th, I'll be with Deputy Nelson and his wife to the Victor Farmington Rotary meeting up in the town of Victor. And he's going to be receiving the prestigious, Paul Harris and Service Above Others Award, which is a very high award that the Rotarians will give Carl. So I look forward to doing that. So we commend Carl for his actions. Unfortunately, he wasn't here today. Thank you. Communication Officer Jeffrey Newton. I know you're here, Jeff. I was talking to you. There you are. Come on up. This letter of commendation is presented to Communication Officer Jeffrey Newton. On the afternoon of March 23, 2018, Communication Officer Jeffrey Newton received a call for a male who was found unresponsive in the home by family members in Victor. Officer Newton quickly processed the job, and while using the Pro Q&A software, got all questions asked and started providing CPR instructions to the family members. Officer Newton's calm demeanor and guidance assisted the family in biding time for the Fishers Fire Department, Victor Farmington Ambulance Corps, and the Ontario County Deputy Rebecca Burks, who is no longer with us. She went to the town of Brighton, to arrive on the scene to provide emergency medical advanced life support care to the male who reported to make a full recovery. Officer Newton's guidance to the family to provide early, high-quality CPR to their loved ones, leading to a positive outcome. It is with great pleasure that I present this letter of commendation to Communication Officer Jeffrey Newton. I got to remember that. Hold on, I got yelled at with my glasses on. Good job. I have to have my glasses on to read the small print, so Correction Officer Daniel Russell. Come on up here, young man. This letter of commendation is presented to Correction Officer Daniel Russell. On March 27, 2019, during the A shift, while Correction Officer Daniel Russell was working at Rover 1, which is an area inside our corrections facility, an inmate committed to the Ontario County Jail for assault second with special needs and the propensity to act out violently from time to time had a seizure necessitating a code blue to be radioed, which that's a medical emergency within the corrections division. Officers and medical staff responded to render medical assistance to the inmate. When he broke away from the seizure, he did so violently, thrashing around and throwing punches. Officer Russell pushed the two nurses treating the inmate away to safety and placed himself between the nurses and the inmate, using himself as a shield. Officer Russell showed courage, protecting nurses Dawn Newt and Deborah Speed from being physically harmed by the inmate. If it had not been for Officer Russell stepping in, Nurse Dawn Newt would have been physically struck by the inmate. Again, it was my great pleasure that I present this letter of commendation to Correction Officer Daniel Russell. Look at the camera there. Go ahead and look at the camera. Good job. Good job. Communication Officer Christopher Tiffany. Is Tiff here? There he is. This letter of commendation is presented to Communication Officer Christopher Tiffany. On the evening of May 29, 2018, Communication Officer Christopher Tiffany took a call from a female in Geneva reporting that she was pregnant, that her water had broken, and that the baby was on its way. That's an uh-oh moment. She also indicated that she was home alone except for her 2-year-old daughter, or child, I apologize. While emergency responders were being dispatched to the scene, the caller advised that she had delivered a baby girl. The child was born just over a minute after Officer Tiffany picked up the 911 call. After the child was born, Officer Tiffany calmed the caller down and gathered additional information, including the apartment number and the fact that it was on the second floor, and gave her emergency instruction on how to care for the child until help arrived on scene. It is with great pleasure that I present this letter of commendation to Communication Officer Christopher Tiffany. Once again, good job. Good job. Thank you. And Nurse Lori Wheeler. Nurse Wheeler? Come on up here, Lori. This letter of commendation is presented to jail nurse Lori Wheeler. On the morning of March 26, 2019, Nurse Lori Wheeler was watching her niece board the school bus when as a vehicle with one female occupant collided with the bus. The woman was blinded by the sunlight at the time of the collision. The front driver's side of the car went under the bus, totally smashing the driver's area. When Lori got out of the car only seconds after impact and realized the car was locked, she attempted to gain entry, breaking windows, but was unsuccessful. A local firefighter came upon the scene and offered his assistance. Lori then gained entry into the vehicle with the help of the firefighter, breaking a rear window. Lori spoke with the woman and helped her to remain conscious until paramedics arrived. The woman's head was trapped between the headrest and the roof of the car. Lori asked another bystander to call 911 and asked for a medical air unit to start. Lori stabilized her head, kept her calm, and she believed her neck may be broken and was also concerned that there may be a brain injury. Lori asked the woman all of her medical history and emergency contact information, just in case she lost consciousness and was unable to communicate to the paramedics later. The Fairville Fire Department, up in Wayne County, that's Sheriff Wirt's territory, responded, and it took them almost an hour to extricate her from the vehicle. She was then flown to Strong Memorial Hospital. On Monday, April 2nd, Nurse Wheeler traveled to Strong Hospital to visit the woman. She was recovering from a serious head injury and with a broken neck. Nurse Wheeler went above and beyond to assist the woman in need. She also offered her continuous support, visiting her in the hospital after the incident. It was my great pleasure that I present this letter of commendation to Nurse Lori Wheeler. Very, very good. Good job. Be very proud of yourself. Awesome job. All right, we're going to move on to the Distinguished Service Awards. Sergeant Ryan Burnett and Deputy Brett Lowry. I'll just have one and hand you the other. Is Sergeant Burnett here? So, Sergeant Burnett's not here, but this is Deputy Brett Lowry. Good job. Good job. This Distinguished Service Award is presented to Sergeant Ryan Burnett and Deputy Brett Lowry. On January 26, 2019, at approximately 5:40 a.m., Sergeant Ryan Burnett and Deputy Brett Lowry responded to State Route 245 in Gorham for a reported structure fire. A restaurant and the apartments above it were reportedly on fire with people possibly trapped inside one of the apartments. Both deputies entered the smoke-filled first floor of the building, where they had to find their way up to the upstairs entry as the stairwell was beginning to fill with smoke as they moved up the stairs. Upon reaching the second floor to the apartment, they had to break the glass of a locked entry door to gain access into the apartment. Once they were in the apartment, they opened the door and they heard a female state, "Hey, we are here, we have a baby." Both deputies entered the apartment and located a 10-month-old baby and her mother. Sergeant Burnett took the baby, and he and Deputy Lowry were able to safely escort the infant, mother, and father out of the building, as well as their two family dogs. The family members were treated at the scene where the Red Cross was contacted to assist them. The rescue of the family by Sergeant Burnett and Deputy Lowry was courageous and performed at great personal risk. It was with my great pleasure that I present this Distinguished Service Award to Sergeant Ryan Burnett and Deputy Brett Lowry. I had Ryan's.
Do you want me to take Ryan's?
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. And what we do with these awards is the deputies will receive a service pin that is aligned with what award they're getting. So here's one that Deputy Lowry will be putting on his uniform, and with great pride. Thanks, Ken. These are life savings awards. Now, these deputies have already been recognized by the Ontario County Safety Council for life saving, but we do our independent recognition as well here at the Sheriff's Office. So I'm going to call up Deputy Floyd Cooley. I skip. This life-saving award is presented to Deputy Floyd Cooley. On October 14, 2018, Deputy Floyd Cooley responded to the Outlet Road in Manchester for reported cardiac arrest. A male was reported by his wife to have been using the treadmill in their home when she heard him say, "Oh no." She then went into the room and found that he had collapsed and went unresponsive. Deputy Cooley was the first to arrive on the scene. He started CPR and connected his issued AED, which is a defibrillator that every deputy in this county carries in their patrol cars, to the male to administer a heart-starting shock so that he could be transported to the hospital for stabilization. He did administer that, and he was transported to the hospital, so it was with my great pleasure that I present this life-saving award to Deputy Floyd Cooley. Another job well done. Here's another pin for you.
Well, thank you, sir.
You're going to run out of uniform space with all your pins. Deputy Seth Jones. So again, he was recognized at the Safety Council, but Deputy Jones was also, and I was proudly there with him. We went up together in the city of Rochester a couple of weeks ago, and he received another award for this action with the EMS community in Monroe County. So on the afternoon of August 5th, 2018, Deputy Jones was dispatched to a report of a 9-month pregnant female who had fallen to the floor, not conscious, not breathing, at her home in Stanley. Her husband was the caller. Deputy Jones arrived on the scene in less than 5 minutes. Deputy Jones and a responder from the Stanley Hall Gorham ambulance started CPR. Deputy Jones attached his AED, which administered a shock, after which a pulse was regained. The pregnant female was taken via Stanley Gorham Hall ambulance to F.F. Thompson Hospital Emergency Department, where an emergency C-section was performed. The baby was quickly turned over to the pediatric team in the ED, while the other Thompson Hospital staff members tended to the mother and stabilized her so she could be airlifted via Mercy flight to Strong Memorial. The newborn infant was also taken to Strong Hospital via a NICU ambulance. Deputies Jones' quick response and life-saving actions in this high-stress situation directly contributed to the survival of the mother and infant. Again, it was with my great pleasure that I present this life-saving award to Deputy Seth Jones. Sir, another award. Good job. And here's your pen. Thank you. Deputy Brian Lazarus. Brian here? No? Is he working today? Okay, Deputy Lazarus, I'll just give you an overview. He's receiving a life-saving award. Basically, on December 21st, 2018, a male reported that he was having a heart attack. Deputy Lazarus arrived on the scene 2 minutes later. The male told the deputy that he had experienced 2 prior heart attacks and had taken some nitro to help. Soon after he became unresponsive, Deputy Lazarus could not find a pulse. He immediately began chest compressions, continued to do so until EMS personnel arrived and began assisting. The male was transported to Strong Hospital, where he was later reported to be doing very well. Deputy Lazarus' ability to reach the scene so quickly and his immediate commencement of life-saving measures when needed most certainly helped save this person's life. Again, it's my great pleasure that I'll be presenting this life-saving award to Deputy Lazarus. Thank you. Deputy Lowry, we need you back up, and Deputy Tim Brewer. And I'm going to call another young man up to here to stand with us, because I think this is very appropriate, Nick Bodine. Nick, come on up. I know the Bodine family, and when I heard this, I couldn't believe it, but I'm proud to have the men and women that work here at the Sheriff's Office with us, because this definitely is, again, with all these awards, we need to show that this is a successful outcome. On the evening of March 21st, 2019, Deputies Brett Lowry and Deputy Tim Brewer were dispatched to a residence on Blasey Road in the town of Victor for a report of an unresponsive 26-year-old male. Both officers arrived on the scene within 4 minutes of being dispatched. Deputy Lowry entered first to find the male victim in cardiac arrest with a female performing CPR on him. As the female continued CPR, Deputy Lowry attached his AED to the victim, defibrillator. After analyzing the victim's cardiac rhythm, the AED advised a shock which Deputy Lowry administered within 2 minutes of his arrival, the golden hour. After the shock was delivered, Deputy Lowry resumed CPR. Moments later, Deputy Brewer detected a pulse on the victim. The victim aspirated and began to take shallow breaths on his own. Deputies Lowry and Brewer rolled the victim onto his side in order to clear the fluid from his airway. 7 minutes after the deputies arrived, paramedics from the Victor Farmington ambulance took over the care of the victim, who was transported to Strong Hospital, where he made a full recovery. Deputy Lowry and Deputy Brewer responded immediately to this life-saving emergency, arriving within minutes before EMS. Once on the scene, they provided competent and professional life-saving CPR while taking charge of the scene. Deputy Lowry also connected his AED to the victim, providing a shock which brought his heart back into sinus rhythm. Their efforts on this night saved this victim's life. And it's my great pleasure and honor that I present this life-saving awards to Deputy Brett Lowry and to the Deputy Tim Brewer. And this is Nick Bodine, the young man that these two deputies saved his life. Next, another pin. Here you are, Tim. And I'm very glad to see you here. Okay? Thank you. You know, I got to be honest with you. We train repeatedly for all these types of emergencies. Not only the road deputies, obviously the communication officers in the 911 center, our corrections officers, our jail staff, and even our civilian clerical staff. We never know when we're going to be needed. And again, we're able to do all these things with the cooperation from the leadership at the county level, at the Board of Supervisors, and as well as taxpayers, because these things do cost money, but obviously money is not any object when you have a young man like this standing here. So again, thank you very much. Meritorious Service Award, Deputy Dan Bennett. Deputy Bennett and I actually went to basic school together, way back. I won't tell him when, Dan. They'll put us in an age. Deputy Bennett's going to be shortly leaving us from a full-time deputy status to a part-time. He's ready to kind of go half-time and take some other ventures on. So in the next couple of months, Deputy Bennett will be retiring. Deputy Bennett joined the Ontario County Sheriff's Office as a correction officer in 1983. So I just told him how old you are. He was promoted to Road Patrol in 1987. Again, Dan and I were able to go to the academy together for a combined 36 years of service with the Office of Sheriff. Deputy Bennett was a long-serving member of the Sheriff's Emergency Response Team, the ERT team, and has served as a field training officer for over 25 years, providing dozens with the tools they need to safely succeed as Road Patrol deputies. Several of the officers trained by Deputy Bennett have risen to the ranks of investigator, sergeant, and lieutenant, which is very impressive. Deputy Bennett exemplifies the officer who is always led by example. His uniform and assigned equipment are in impeccable condition without fail. Deputy Bennett maintains a spit shine on his leather, and his patrol vehicle is clean inside and out all times. I forgot to tell you to wear your Class A's.
Had no clue.
As a field training officer, Deputy Bennett has always stressed upon his recruits the importance of officer safety and treating all fellow officers and members of the public with decency and respect regardless of the circumstances. And that's absolutely true with Deputy Bennett. Deputy Bennett has been recognized numerous times over his long career by superiors for his dependability and calm demeanor. He is on time for work every day and uses nearly no sick time. Deputy Bennett often answers calls for service on his way in before his tour begins and on his way home when his tour is ending. He works numerous extra details throughout the year and always comes in at 3 a.m. on a short notice when additional deputies are needed on the road. He'll get the phone call and Dan comes in. Deputy Bennett has an inherent ability to de-escalate hostile subjects and bring potentially violent incidents to peaceful conclusions. When fellow officers are down and out physically, Deputy Bennett is always there to lend a hand without asking, whether shoveling their snow, offering rides, or doing other outdoor work at their homes. Deputy Bennett is always there. He also attends all funerals for officers killed in the line of duty throughout New York, often on his own time. Deputy Bennett has served the public with honor, compassion, and distinction. He has been a leader in always treating fellow and superior officers with respect and has followed orders without fail. It is with my great pleasure that I present this Meritorious Service Award to Deputy Dan Bennett. Daniel, I'm honored to do that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Who would have thought? Right, here you go. And that's your pen.
Oh, thanks.
Sergeant Trevor Sergeant. Yes, we have a Sergeant Sergeant. Sergeant Trevor Sergeant has been with the Ontario County Sheriff's Office since March 6, 2000, and was promoted to his current position in September 15, 2017. While working the B shift, Sergeant Sergeant has proven himself to be a valuable asset to the Ontario County Jail Supervisory Team. As a first-line supervisor, Sergeant Sergeant is tasked with several responsibilities and accepted these additional responsibilities and challenges to overcome, readily accepting constructive criticism offered to him by his superiors and peers. Furthermore, the sergeant, so I don't keep saying Sergeant Sergeant, the sergeant always takes the time to follow up with the corrections staff, assigns work to the officers he supervises, and uses positive reinforcement to recognize the work that his staff does. The officers he supervises are a priority to him, and they readily seek his guidance and advice. The sergeant does a thorough job working through issues and problems that occur within the facility and follows up with informative, detailed documentation of the events. The sergeant is a coordinator for PREA, which is the Prison Rape Elimination Act, within Ontario County Jail. He oversees investigations into complaints and assists with proper training of staff on the PREA policies. He also reviews policies and procedures on a regular basis. The sergeant is also a supervisor in charge of the Ontario County Jail Street Gang Threat Group, participating in several conferences and training, as well as working with 2 officers developing their skills for identifying potential threats to the safety and security and good order of the Ontario County Jail. And this is a very good asset that we have with the sergeant. Sergeant has accepted to participate as a mentor at the National Jail Leadership Command Academy held in Sam Houston University in Texas, where he will be working as a mentor to other jail leaders from across the country, while also developing his own skills. This honor is bestowed upon a very small group of corrections supervisors nationally. So this is a great honor that he can do this. The sergeant also manages suggestions, additions, and any updates made to the department's manual of instruction. As the new administration transitioned to the office of sheriff, he has been instrumental in smooth transition of required policy and procedures. And let me tell you, he does. I must sign these documents 60 times a day. So he does a great job. He also is involved with the upcoming New York State Corrections Commission of Corrections Minimum Standards Review. The sergeant has developed many hours of his work time preparing for the facility for a review of accreditation status later this year, delegating some of the work attached to the necessary tasks to the others. And again, he takes his time to develop these employees to become maybe supervisors in the future. The sergeant is a goal-oriented, hard-working, detail-oriented supervisors whose positions, attitude, and professionalism benefits those he works with, and the office of sheriff as well. It is my great pleasure to present this Meritorious Service Award to Sergeant Trevor Sergeant. That was long. Another fine job.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to the Employee of the Year Awards. And what we're doing this year is a little bit different from the previous Sheriff Pavro. We're recognizing employee from within each division of the Office of Sheriff. So if I could have, with my great honor, because I've known this young lady since she was little, Correction Officer Cristin Devries. So can you take it out of the box and then we'll give you the box? Come on up here, young lady. You know, there's a reason why we invited your family here. This Correction Officer of the Year Award is presented to Correction Officer Cristin Devries. Officer Devries demonstrates consistently distinguished performance. Her performance is an important contributor to the success of the intake area of the Sheriff's Office as a whole. When somebody's brought into our facility, they have to go through intake and go through a series of steps in order to get them into the jail system, and this is what this officer does every day. She has developed and maintains a strong working rapport with all the local police agencies, as well as the local and county court system, which helps keep the line of communication open and flowing between all departments. Officer Devries demonstrates extraordinary level of professionalism, compassion, and an uncanny ability to develop interpersonal trust while working with the incarcerated population. And she does, they really do tend to to attach themselves to her. She is able to identify the needs of those incarcerated and use all possible resources to ensure those needs are met. By showing compassion and speaking with an individual, making sure phone calls to ensure they have transportation, ensuring they have the needed paperwork to get services once released are just a few examples of her compassion and dedication. Again, it is with my great pleasure that I present this Correction Officer of the Year award to Correction Officer Cristin Devries.
Thank you. You well earned it. Get a picture so you can come on.
And each officer will be getting a plaque. So here's a plaque for you to hang proudly on your wall. Next person. Next person I'd like to call up is Communication Officer Sabrina Mayo. Again, I've known Sabrina a long, long time. Sabrina's mother and my mother both worked together in the civil division here at the Sheriff's Office for many years. Officer Sabrina Mayo is an 18-year veteran of the Office of Sheriff. During her tenure, she has worked as both a communications officer as well as a road patrol deputy. Officer Mayo holds many positions within the 911 Center, in addition to her everyday duties. Officer Mayo is a certified training officer, officer in charge, member of the ops team, and records researcher for all backgrounds conducted by the Background Investigation Unit within our office. Officer Mayo is the sole researcher for all background checks that are conducted by the Ontario County Sheriff's Background Investigation Unit, including all personnel, pistol permit applicants, and contract workers. Trust me, there's a lot. This accumulates to hundreds of hours of research in addition to her daily responsibilities as a 911 communications officer. So she's not only doing all this work, she's also making sure she's doing her duties as a 911 call taker. Her work is an integral part of hiring process for the Office of Sheriff, so I rely on her a lot. Officer Mayo excels at all aspects of a communication officer. She is an incredibly professional, efficient, and compassionate communications officer. She continuously ranks in the top of the division in the emergency medical dispatching scoring. Basically what that is getting the information and getting those units on the road to get to the emergency. Over the years, she has used these skills in life-saving efforts for many with CPR instructions, as well as helping to deliver a baby before she could help arrive on scene. It's my great pleasure that I present this Communication Officer of the Year award to the Communication Officer, Sabrina Mayo.
Mom would be proud.
Thank you.
Both of us.
Right? And for our Road Patrol Deputy of the Year, Sergeant Michael Rago. Sergeant Rago joined the Ontario County Office of Sheriff on a part-time basis in 2005 as a member of the Marine and Recreational Division. In 2008, he was hired as a full-time road patrol deputy and was promoted to sergeant in 2017. Sergeant Rago is also an evidence technician, member of the Accident Reconstruction Unit, and prior to being promoted to sergeant, he was a field training officer. Sergeant Rago is an exemplary police officer and supervisor. He leads by example, as evidenced by a superior condition of his uniform, obviously. Patrol vehicle, trust me, you won't find a bug on the windshield of Sergeant Rago's car, and assigned equipment on a daily basis. He serves as fleet manager for all of the approximately 100 plus vehicles assigned to the Sheriff's Criminal Unit. As such, he's responsible for the assignment of new vehicles each year and maintains the spare vehicles, keeping them in ready status. To say Sergeant Rago cares for his officers and supports the mission of the Office of Sheriff would be a gross understatement. Sergeant Rago makes certain that his officers have the tools they need to accomplish their jobs in a safe and effective manner each day. He is always aware of which calls are active for his officers and for the surrounding jurisdictions. Sergeant Rago responds without fail to sensitive and potentially dangerous calls, providing effective and professional leadership. He makes sound decisions in cases that are under his command that come out to be favorable and safe conclusions. Most commendable is Sergeant Rago's dedication to the connection with the citizens of Ontario County. He serves as the Sheriff's liaison to the Ontario County Fire Police Association, providing training to the new and seasoned fire police officers on a monthly basis. And I've gone to a couple of their meetings to speak to them, and Sergeant Rago is very highly thought of by this group. Sergeant Rago also volunteered to become certified as an instructor in civilian response to active shooter incidents, as he felt it was important to educate our public and civic members in how to best survive such a horrific event. Since becoming certified, Sergeant Rago has brought his program to countless schools, churches, fire departments, banks, senior groups, and many, many more. Many of these organizations have called or written in to say how effective the training was and the professional manner in which Sergeant Rago presents the material. Much of Sergeant Rago's community outreach details are on the nights off, meaning more time away from his family. But Sergeant Rago accommodates all of these requests because he is committed to doing whatever he can do to help our firefighters and citizens, keeping them safe. Sergeant Rago is a superior police officer and supervisor who is dedicated to making the difference for the safety of officers and the citizens of Ontario County. He gives 100% at work and gives freely of his time beyond to serve and protect. So thank you to his lovely wife and his children. It is great pleasure that I present this Deputy Sheriff's Year Award to Sergeant Michael Rago. Well earned. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good job. Here's your plaque. Thanks for everything. Okay, we're going to do longevity pins. It's a tradition in our office. And longevity pins, basically for us, we display them on a uniform. And what we're going to be doing is we'll be calling these folks up in groups, so we're not doing this individually. The Ontario County Officers wants to extend our sincere gratitude to these members who have gone above and beyond the call of duty to Ontario County for their many years of service. You have a program? Where's the list? Okay. So for a 5-year longevity pin, which means they've had completed their 5th year, if you're here, if you could come up, and then we'll save our applause to the end. Correction Sergeant Benjamin Casella, Communication Officer Robert Castor, Correction Officer Ryan Falke, Correction Officer Alyssa Green, Correction Officer Ryan Hargrave, Correction Officer Justin Johnson, Deputy Eric Shrew, Correction Officer Jacob Van Damme. The sergeant's the only one that came up. Well, I will tell you, for us in this line of work, of course, we're 24/7, 365. So a lot of these officers and deputies work either afternoons or overnights. So a lot of them are probably sleeping. I don't know about Deputy Shrew. Wait till I call his parents and he didn't show. So, but anyways, again, thank you for 5 years of service. All right, thanks. Longevity, 10 years. The following officers, if you're here, come on up. Correction Sergeant James Boggs. Investigator Nathan Bowerman. Correction Officer Jason Braverman. Correction Officer Richard Hirschman. And Deputy John Potter Jr. And I know a few of these definitely work overnights because I was at overnight roll call the other day and I spoke with them. So, okay, congratulations for your 10 years. You're going to look at the camera. This is a 15-year longevity pin. Correction Officer Walter Fagner. He works overnights. I just talked to him. Correction Officer Sergeant Stacy Lambert. Deputy Brian Lazarus. Correction Sergeant Clarence Morrell. Sergeant Mark Taylor. He's standing out there trying to hide. Sergeant, and then Correction Officer Adam Weller. These are the 15-year pins. Mark? Just come here, get a picture. I'm going to put it on your mantle. Okay, now we're at the 20-year pins. Investigator Christopher Drake. Deputy Kathleen Haberfield. Kathy, come on up here. And I will tell you that Kathy is retiring. When is your official day? I signed your paperwork. Today. Oh, wow. Okay. So the official day is today, May 1st. She's retiring. Correction Sergeant Tara Killian. Is Tara here? Correction Officer Martin Lozada. And Margie Wood, Margaret Wood, stenographer. Where's Margie? Come on up here, Margie. How you been?
Good, good.
Come on, Marge. There. And we're going to get a picture, so we'll give it to you. Thanks, Kathy. Again, Deputy Haberfield, thank you so much for your 20 years of service. And, I had the opportunity to work with her for her full 20 years. And she's amazing when it comes to, prior to be sheriff, I was one of the county coroners. And she's amazing when it comes to death investigations. She really has the skill, the education, and the knack to do that. So, again, thank you on behalf of myself for all your help throughout the years. Thanks, Kathy. Oh, yeah. Before you leave, Kathy, I have a couple other things for you. Sergeant and Undersheriff. Is the county administrator here? Deputy County Administrator? Chairman Marion, can you come up? This is Victortown Supervisor Jack Marin and also the Chairman of the Board of Supervisors. I think it's appropriate, Chairman, would you like to honor her with this recognition from the county?
County of Ontario Award of Commendation. Be it hereby known that the supervisors of Ontario County extend their sincerest appreciation on behalf of the citizens of the county to Kathleen C. Haberfield in recognition of your 20 years of dedicated service to the residents of Ontario County. Congratulations.
You want to give her the coveted courthouse?
Oh, yeah. The courthouse. I'm sure you'll have that on your mantle to look at.
Yeah, we should get that. Where's her blanket? She doesn't get a blanket?
I get it.
25 years, okay. All right. Chairman, thank you very much. I appreciate it. One other thing that what we do with law enforcement, when you retire from on the job and go into retirement status, part of the process is, and this is something that I've had the opportunity to do for a few times now since being sheriff, is to hand what we call retirement credentials to those retirement. So what Kathy is receiving here is her retirement wallet with her retirement ID, as well as a shield that has the retirement rank on her shield. So for 20 years of hard work, well deserved.
If I knew you were doing this, I would have brought in my curtain. I have it with me to tune in.
We'll find it. Thank you, Kathy. Okay, these are 25-year longevity pins. Sergeant James Alexander. Correction Officer Timothy Bentley. Correction Officer Mike Blasey. Correction Officer Sherry Kelsey, who ironically just retired the other day and doesn't look like, so she must be enjoying her retirement. She's not here. And Deputy Scott Avedisian. These for 25-year service pins. And Correction Officer Kelsey will also be receiving the commendation from the County Board of Supervisors, as well as her plaque for the county courthouse. Gentlemen, congratulations. Michael, congratulations. Hold on, Mike. Got to get a picture so you can put it in your wallet. Thanks. We're just about done with the program. 30-year pins. Investigator John Abraham. Senior Communication Officer Jeff Edwards. Correction Officer Pat Thorpe. Pat's probably home sleeping because he works a lot of overtime. Investigator Eric Weir. Eric? And Correction Officer Deborah Parsons. These are 30-year pins for the Office of Sheriff. Congratulations. Jeff, congratulations. We'll look at the camera. We're not done yet. Now we're going to go into the 40-year pins. Deputy Bill Gallagher. Deputy Gary Loopold. Correction Officer Larry Nolan. And Deputy Ron O'Brien. I know Ron's probably working. So again, these officers have hit their 40-year mark. Pretty amazing. Bill? Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, now we're going to be kind of transitioning something that we've been doing. This is called the Do the Right Thing Awards. We like to recognize the young people from our county who have done the right thing. And it is my pleasure to introduce Donna Schertle, who has organized this. And she will go over the Do the Right Thing Award, and then we'll be calling those recipients up to the podium. Donna?
Thank you, Sheriff
Thank you.
Henderson. All right, the kids need to get back to school, so we're going to go quickly with this. I'm going to have, we'll talk about the Do the Right Thing. If you want more information, please go to the Sheriff's website or the Ontario County PBA website. But I'm going to welcome SRO Chumachero up here, and can I get Abby Sandberg up here as well?
We have so many recognitions this year.
I know, it was great.
Abby was nominated for this award by Sarah Cutter as a special education teacher at Victor. Abby is a student volunteer in her self-contained classroom. Abby is passionate about working with and for individuals with developmental disabilities. She shares her knowledge and educates others on facts regarding behavior and treatment of those with disabilities. She is a true champion of those who need one. She does not tolerate bullying and will confront or correct those who don't understand behaviors and have the wrong information. Not only does Abby volunteer in the classroom, she also helps with Special Olympics and a club called Big Time Friends, where general education students and special education students work together on projects and participate in social events. Abby is truly worthy of the Do the Right Thing Ontario County Award, and I commend her for being a positive example for her peers.
Gift card. This is a gift card? And each recipient of the Do the Right Thing will be receiving a plaque. So there you are, Abby. A certificate to proudly display on her wall, and a gift card to Walmart. So I'm not sure how much is on there, but good luck. And congratulations, okay? Very good job.
All right, can I get SRO Bob Holland up here with Blake Dustin? Is Blake here? Oh, I'm sorry. That's kind of what I meant to do. Yeah, why don't we have SRO Lambert come up with Blake? I'm so sorry. I'm trying to get you guys back to school because I know you miss it.
My name's Scott Lambert. I'm the SRO at Marcus Whitman. And here I have Blake Dutton. He is a middle school student at Marcus Whitman, and he was nominated for Do the Right Thing Award by his band teacher, Matthew Bond. Blake found a wallet containing $240 in the band room one day, and this was towards the beginning of the school year. The wallet had no name, no identification, but he immediately took it to the band teacher without question.
Do they all get
And turned it over to Mr. Bond, who found
Is this him?
the
No,
rifle.
I think I left it up there,
We were
sorry.
asking why a middle school student would have $240 on him. It was ski club, and payment was due for ski club. Because of Blake's honesty, the individual was allowed to continue with his ski club. So I would like to present Do the Right Thing Ontario County, letter of commendation, and a $50 gift card to Blake for doing the right thing and being a role model to others.
Young man, good job, okay? Here you go with it there. There's a plaque, and there's your gift card. All right, good job.
I can
Good job,
have
Jan.
SRO Kalia come up and Jaden Henhock.
Sorry?
Good afternoon, I'm
Hey,
Kevin
young
Cooley.
man,
I'm the
how are
School
you?
Resource Officer for the Manchester Shortsville District, AKA Red Jacket. And this is Jaden Henhock, did I pronounce that right? Jaden is an elementary student, and Jaden was nominated by RJ Elementary Principal Jeff McCarthy. Jaden reported an incident on the bus where another student made a threat and stated he had a weapon. Although it is often difficult to report on a peer, Jaden did the right thing, reported the incident to the main office. It is a great honor that I present this plaque, letter of commendation, and $50 gift certificate to Jaden for following the school expectations to be respectful, responsible, and safe on a daily basis by doing the right thing. Thank you.
Good job, young man. Look at, you get a nice plaque. There's a certificate, and there's $50, okay? Good job.
I also want to thank a
Good
lot
job,
of
Kyle.
school administrators and teachers took the time to come out today, so thank you very much for supporting the program. Can I get Moses Rodriguez up here from Canandaigua and SRO Matt McGrath? And if Chief Hedworth would like to come up as well.
How you doing, young man? Good.
Good afternoon, I am Officer Matt McGrath with the Canandaigua Police Department, and this is Chief Stephen Hedward. Canandaigua Academy student Moises Robinson was nominated for this award by the Academy of Counseling Secretaries Ashley Fisher and Donna Sherrill. They have the pleasure of seeing Moises every day in the counseling center. He's a well-mannered young man who always takes the time to say hello and tell people to have a nice day. Regardless of what is going on around him, you can count on him to make good choices and be a role model for others. Thank you, Moses, for doing the right thing. It's an honor to present you with this plaque, letter of commendation, and $50 gift card on behalf of Do the Right Thing, Ontario County. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Good job. There's your gift card. They want to get a picture too. Good job.
He is an amazing kid.
Thanks.
Thank you, Moses.
Thanks, Mike. Good job.
And thank you, Moses' mother. Chief, you can stay up. We have, we're gonna get SRO Sanford and Chloe Jepson from Canandaigua Middle School.
Good afternoon. I'm Officer Ronnie Stanford of the Canandaigua Police Department. I'm the School Resource Officer assigned to the middle school. Today I have the pleasure to present the Do the Right Thing Ontario County Award to Canandaigua Middle School student Chloe Jepson. Chloe was nominated by her school counselor, Mr. Alex Clark. Chloe started at the middle school in December of 2018 and has had the immediate positive impact on the school and her peers. She treats everyone with respect and helps students that may be in need without hesitation. Chloe is a great support to her friends and helps them make good choices and teaches them by example. Positive ways to deal with the struggles of middle school. And we all know what they can. She does this all in a way that is supportive and well received. Chloe helps to make the Canandaigua Middle School an even better place. Thank you, Chloe. It is with a great pleasure that I present with you this Do the Right Thing Ontario County Award, letter of commendation, and $50 gift card.
Good job, Chloe. And here's your plaque, and there's the chief. Good job, Ronnie.
Well, we have our Canandaigua students up there. I want to thank the mayor, Pete Kennedy, for being super supportive. Did you want to come in and do a...
Oh, you're going to give him the
do a
mic?
little
Oh,
line?
yeah.
No, I'm not giving him the mic.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Sheriff.
Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. All right, now we're going to get our Geneva City kids up here. Can we get Chief Michael Casalacqua and School Resource Officer, let me say Arroyo? So, and we're gonna, Nicholas Vascones. I hope I said that right.
Good afternoon, I'm Officer Raul Arroyo. I'm the
Nicholas.
School Resource Officer for the City of Geneva, accompanied by my Chief Michael Pasalacqua. We are recognizing one student from Geneva High School and 4 students from North Street School. First, I would like to recognize Geneva High School student Nicholas Vascones. Nick was nominated by Geneva High School social worker, who is also present, Kathy Collins, who has worked with Nick for the last 3 years and has watched him grow tremendously in terms of his sense of responsibility, maturity, and kindness towards his fellow students. Nick is being recognized for being the type of person who advocates for other students, making sure they have warm clothing, help in school, and we're safe in situations outside of school. He will often ask for help and guidance on how to be there for others. Nick is a perfect example of the Do the Right Thing Ontario County awardee. It is with great pleasure that I present this plaque, letter of commendation, and a $50 card to Nick. Congratulations.
Nick, good job. Okay, and here's the chief.
Will Colby Lar come up front? Colby, there you go.
Thank you.
Now I would like to recognize 4 students from North Street School who were nominated all by teacher Alyssa Berry. She's here present. I'd also would like to present their building principal, Eric Valancourt. Colby is being recognized for his ability to accept others no matter what and for being a positive role model in the classroom community. Colby is known to step up when he knows of an unsafe situation and tell an adult to prevent others from getting in trouble or hurt. Thank you, Colby, for doing the right thing. I would like to present you with the plaque, letter of commendation, and $50 gift card. Congratulations.
Here you are, young man. Congratulations. Good job.
Next, Carlos Ortiz Bonilla.
Come on up here, young man. Right, turn right around. There you go.
Carlos has made positive changes in his behavior even though he faces many challenges. He has stepped up both at home and in the classroom to be a role model to others. He helps care for his siblings at home, and at school he focuses on his education rather than getting in trouble with peers. When other students need help, Carlos is usually right there to lend a hand. It is with great pleasure that I present Carlos with the Do the Right Thing Ontario County Award, letter of commendation, and a $50 gift card. Congratulations, Carlos.
Congratulations. I like your tie. Hold on, man. Oh, you got one more. There you go. You got it? Okay.
Rylan Dunham. Rylan overcame
Perfect.
many
Thank you.
struggles with his use of strategies that he now uses without prompting. He has become a student that many others look up to and the peacemaker in his group. Rylan does not judge others and accepts them for who they are. It is an honor to present Rylan with a Do the Right Ontario County Award, letter of commendation, and a $50 gift card. Congratulations.
Congratulations, young man. There you go. You got it. Yep.
Emily Mayer. Emily's the kind of person who is not afraid to be herself and will never change who she is because of someone else. When she notices others doing something wrong, she helps them to fix the problem or make amends. She's a hard worker, taking initiatives when she knows she is not at the level she would like to be with her studies. Emily has had some struggles in her life, but never brings them to school, and is able to be positive and focus on the good in everything. Congratulations, Emily, on your Do the Right Thing County Award, letter of commendation, and $50 gift card.
You want to shake his hand? There you are, sweetheart. Good job, okay? And the chief has something for you.
I'd like to quickly congratulate all the parents for all the students that are here tonight, and also to all the school resource officers. Girls and guys, you rock.
Yes, you do. Good job, Chief.
Okay, now SRO Bob Holland, save the best for last.
Oh, boy, Bob,
No, I
we need
didn't
to
mean
talk.
that. I didn't mean that.
Shots fired.
And can I have Aiden Court come on up?
Can I have my assistant principal and the athletic director come up here with me?
John Lambert, you might not have to get here with that.
You're doing
Yeah.
Good afternoon, I'm Jim Jankercio, I'm the assistant principal of Mid Lakes Middle and High School. I'd like to recognize Aiden Court. Aiden was nominated by Mid Lakes Aquatic Director Jack Hober for his quick, precise action when he was notified of a young boy choking. Aiden was teaching a class when he noticed a boy at the door waving his hands and looking for help. Aiden quickly walked out and was told that the boy's 4-year-old brother was choking. Aiden then performed abdominal thrusts, dislodging the hot dog that he was choking on. The boy said thank you and returned to the school event they were attending, and Aiden quietly went back to teaching his class. For calmly taking action, saving a life, and then returning to his class, all while not bringing alarm to anyone around him, I'm honored to present Aiden Court with the Do the Right Thing Ontario County Award, letter of recommendation, and $50 gift card.
Good job, young man. So here's everything for you.
Can I get Kenneth DeLand up here, please? By the way, I'm Deputy Holland. I'm the school resource officer for Phelps Midwest School District. I'd like to honor Kenneth DeLand. I nominated Kenneth for this award. Kenneth's Eagle Scout project helped to honor veterans and add so much to the community. He worked with the Historical Society, the VFW, and local businesses to create banners honoring local veterans, to include his own grandfather. The large banners that had a photo and the name of the veteran and are displayed on Main Street, Clifton Springs. To date, he has honored 32 veterans and has hopes of honoring another 80 by Memorial Day 2019. I would like to thank Kenneth for honoring our veterans and would like to present him with the Do the Right Thing Ontario County Award, letter of commendation, and $50 gift card.
Thank you very much. Good job. Good job. Okay, keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Oh boy, Jack.
I'm John Hober. I'm the aquatics director at Mid Lakes, and I'd like to honor Corey Richardson. Corey is also a student at Mid Lakes, and honored to be one of my lifeguards. On April 7th, Corey was called to his grandmother's house, where he found her barely responsive, which quickly turned to unresponsive, no pulse, no breathing. Corey, having been trained as a lifeguard, which included CPR, began CPR. His mother then arrived to assist 8 minutes later, followed by the paramedics. The paramedics were able to get her stable and to the hospital. Due to unforeseen circumstances, Corey's grandmother passed a few days ago. Thanks to Corey's efforts, I believe his grandmother has left this place on her own terms, and with time, her family was able to say their goodbyes. So at this moment for Corey, for his heroism and for his quick action, I would like to present you with this Do the Right Thing Ontario County Award, letter of recommendation, and of course the rest.
Tell you about your grandma. Good job, okay? Good job.
So thank you, everyone. If I can get all the SROs, kind of raise your hands. And then I see Sergeant Fogarty, who is my contact at the Sheriff's Office. I know Investigator Wellman was here, members of the Ontario County PBA, and all of our school officials that came out. I know Ms. Ducharme's here from Canandaigua. A lot of you took the time out, and I want to say thank you. This is an important program. We're always there to tell them they messed up, but I want to be there to tell them nice job, and thank you all for doing this. And please be aware during the year and nominate your kids, and we'll do this again. And all of these kids get to go to Bristol Mountain Aerial Park, which is fun, right? They open it up and they get a free day there at the aerial park. So yeah, that date will be coming soon. We'll do that on a Saturday in June, and it is the coolest day. So thank you very much. Thank you, Sheriff Henderson. I certainly
Donna,
appreciate all this, and thank you to everyone.
Thanks, Donna. Again, thank you, Donna. That was good. And you know, on behalf of the school resource, I was a former school resource officer myself, and I've had many opportunities to do many things here at the Sheriff's Office, even standing here as the sheriff now. But I'll be very honest with you. Our school resource officers, when we go into schools and they go into schools each and every day, do leave a positive impact on our children. The safety, again, we're always fearful of what's going to happen because this is a different world now. But again, thank you to the Board of Supervisors for allowing my office, the Office of Sheriff, to have the assistance and help put the school resource officers within our schools. So thank you. Job well done by everybody. Almost at the conclusion, I'd like to call back up Supervisor Marin, Chairman of the Board of Supervisors, for some closing remarks.
Sheriff, and congratulations again to everyone. Certainly, I don't want to be one of the last things holding up to that fine assortment of fine dining in the back of the room here. Certainly, last evening I can just share with you, participated in an event here right in the same room as well, Youth Bureau, Ontario County Youth Bureau, and 9 school districts submitted names of individuals within those school districts that went above and beyond, just like the same stories we just heard today. So I get tired of when I hear, as a father and grandfather now, I get tired of hearing, oh, that next generation, boy, what's the world going to become? I can tell you what, this next generation, hands on, you're going to do an excellent job there, okay? As Donna mentioned again, thank you, school districts, parents and grandparents. You're providing a foundation for tomorrow's leaders and community residents as well. School resource officer, thank you. Can't thank you enough. And to the Sheriff's point, we are so thankful as members of the Board of Supervisors to provide you with that funding. A couple of individuals I want to recognize. I know the people here, and I apologize, certainly, whose education dear and near to his heart. Finger Lakes Community College President Dr. Robert Nye, for those of you who have never met him. I'm going to go through some other individuals, and then if you can hold your applause, just expedite it. Representing Senator Helming's office, we have representation from Senator Helming, Senator Funke's office, Assembly Minority Leader Brian Kolb's office, and Congressman Collins' office as well. So thank you for the 4 of you for providing time here. Honorable Judge Reed is with us. Our District Attorney, Jim Ritz, Public Defender Leon Lapp as well, and certainly from the members of the Board of Supervisors, Vice Chair, Mr. Bob Green, also Chairman of Public Safety, Bristol Town Supervisor, Hopewell Town Supervisor Ted Bateman, Farmington Town Supervisor Peter Inglesby, Naples Town Supervisor Tamara Hicks, and hopefully I'm not missing any of my colleagues. The police chiefs from the city of Canandaigua, which you met up here previously, and Geneva as well. So thank you. Earlier this year, in the month of March, I had the opportunity to attend the Safety Council Awards And then in April, the Crime Victims' Rights Week ceremony. And I can tell you the compelling stories you hear. I heard at those two events, and again here today, life-saving awards. And I know, as the sheriff alluded to, the Bodine family. Karen Bodine is actually the town clerk in the town of Victor, and Mr. Nick Bodine, who for probably a long 7 minutes, the family didn't know where he would end up, and just to have him here in presence, I can speak for the family. It meant so much. The sheriff mentioned earlier the cost of taxes when it comes to public safety, cost for an ambulance ride, things of that nature. But I can tell you, when the Bodine family, and you and I as well, when you hit that 911, you don't care about the cost. You just want someone there to say your family member, loved one, or yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank again all the legal branches of our legal system as well for your attendance here today. And to the men and women of our law enforcement, sheriff's department, all areas, thank you very much for what you day in and day out, keeping all of us safe. And very important to the members of the Board of Supervisors, that at the end of the day, you return home to your family safe as well. Thank you. God bless all.
Thanks, Jack. I think Jack saw my notes because he thanked everybody that I was going to do. So thanks, Jack. And again, not only those that Supervisor Chairman mentioned, again, all of our county, state level, school officials, you know, we're all in this together to provide whatever we can, whatever job we have. Again, my fellow chiefs, not only here in Ontario County, we have the chief from Penn Yan as well, and other dignitaries. Our fire and EMS folks, they're very, most of these folks in that part of their careers are volunteers. We couldn't do it without our volunteers as well. So thank you for that. So at this time, I'm going to call Sheriff's Chaplain Kevin Cotter back to the podium. We'll do the benediction, and I just have a couple quick closing remarks.
Just like to say, it's a great honor to be here with these wonderful human beings. May the Lord bless you and keep you, make his face shine upon you, and give you peace. Thank you, Sheriff.
Oh, that was sharp. Thank you, Kev. Again, thank you to Chaplain Cotter. I got to also make sure that I thank the Ontario County Sheriff's Honor Guard. The men and women serve in this detail voluntarily. They sign up and voluntarily do this. And as you can see, they're always spit and polish as well. Our jail staff, as the chairman said, you're going to have some nice cookies and other snacks back there. They are calorie free, so you can have two. Our day reporting program, we have those folks that do their day reporting for various reasons. They came and helped us set up. Obviously, Donna Schertl, again, thanks for her doing what she does, not only for the Do the Right Thing. Donna, on a volunteer basis, you couldn't ask for anybody better. She supports the Back the Blue program, the PBAs. It's amazing. So, again, my sincere thanks to the men and women of the Office of Sheriff here in Ontario County who serve and protect and are the true heroes and guardians of Ontario County. Thank you so much for attending today. I apologize, it's a little warm in here. Please stay and enjoy some light refreshments. Again, thank you very much.